Hey, this is Dave for Dave is Just Dave, where we examine abuse recovery, mental health, and positive attraction. And we do this through many lenses, the most important lens being your own personal experience or personal experience in general. And today I wanted to explore something through the lens of online dating, based on my own personal experience with using Match.com during COVID-19, the pandemic of 2020. This is being recorded in 2020. Who knows how long it will go on or how long people may view this. At any rate, I want to say first of all that if you're going to begin an online dating adventure, that you should probably be in good mental health, because there's certainly a fair amount of just sort of rejection, or I would just say general non-responsiveness that's inherent in online dating. So you best be prepared for that, and don't certainly expect too much. But given the fact that you basically, depending on where you live, can't go anywhere, can't do anything, online dating is, I'm sure, getting more and more popular. I personally seem to have noticed an uptick in the people that are joining it here within the past month or so, as we get into the fall of 2020 when this is being recorded. So let's talk a little bit more about that. First of all, it's an incredibly finite experience. I want to address this specifically if you're over 35 years old. There's just only so many single people out there, depending on what you're looking for, whether it's single people with kids, without kids, whether you're looking for somebody who's never married or divorced, or whatever you're looking for. There's just, it's very finite. Even I live in a city of 1,000 people, and it's very finite as far as just what is out there. So really take care when you sign up. Put together your profile to the best of your ability. Don't assume that you've got time to kind of build it as you go. Certainly you could do that, but because there's just relatively so few people on it, I would caution you against that. So when you first sign up, you will probably have some initial luck or success, whatever we want to call it, and you'll get a few messages, or you'll reach out to folks that you're interested in, and they'll respond. This will happen, I think, more so at the beginning, just because you've got the most people to look at. So really take care when you get your first messages in your responses. Don't be assuming that your experience on a site like Match.com will continue to be how it is when you first sign up. So you'll feel sort of rich with activity at the beginning, but that won't necessarily be able to be sustained just because there aren't enough new people joining for that to take place. So I would really encourage you to take advantage of the search functions that exist on Match.com. Whether, again, that's looking for no kids, maybe you have like a particular interest in dating somebody of a particular religion, or if you want to look carefully even within the people that have kids, you can look at, do they have one kid? Do they have two kids? Now, you can't search for that, but if you read the individual profiles, it generally is going to say how many kids they have. And obviously there's a huge difference between dating somebody with one child and four. So I think that's certainly worth looking at. In terms of things that may be predictive of a match, you can look at education level matching yours, or a profession matching yours, whatever. This is one of the best features of a site like Match.com, is these search functions. So definitely take advantage and really take stock. So like, for example, in the metro area where I live, it's about a million people or so. When I do a targeted search for exactly what I'm looking for, it comes up right at this moment with around 67 people. So then you're going to narrow that to, like, out of those 67 people, which ones do you think look more appealing to you? So maybe that's 15 or 20. You're going to contact 15 or 20 people and let that play out. So think about how long you'd want to subscribe based on knowing this. And your search parameters may be different, and your number of people that you're looking at may be different. So if you're starting with 300, okay, you can probably do that for a while. If you're starting with 67, to me, I would say you can let that play out in certainly 6 to 8 weeks. Just things to be cautious of and aware of as you're using a site like Match.com. Look at people that are doing what I would call kind of comparison shopping. So maybe whether you contact them first or they contact you first, if you're really willing to show up for this, and I don't think there's any reason not to. I mean, you don't really have much to lose. So let's say they contact you first. They ask you a couple questions. You answer them in full. Maybe they ask you a couple probing questions and, you answer with a full paragraph or two. You're probably not ever going to, on a dating site, write more than, say, 2 paragraphs in a response. But let's say you fully answer the questions and then they respond back with just 1 sentence. I would, maybe with more questions, I would think about walking away from this type of person. Maybe try it one more time and see if something's different. But I don't understand this type of behavior, and you will see it online. I think some folks, when we think about what they're getting out of Match.com, you would think, well, why would somebody sign up for a site like this and not, go on any dates, but just seek to get as much incoming messages as they can and really not try and engage with people? Well, remember, they're paying money for the subscription, but they are getting something out of it, whether they actually go on dates or not. They can tell people, oh, hey, I'm making an effort to meet somebody. They can tell people stories about the people that are contacting them on Match.com and how funny they are, etc. So don't assume that just because people are on there, of course, that they are necessarily really serious about trying to meet someone. They really might not be. So that's a behavior that you can look at. However it happens, you show up for the conversation and they don't. Probably just walk away from that. But at the same time, don't be too worried about crafting the perfect response or the most clever, right? You're just showing up here. Yeah, put some effort into your profile. Choose at least 3 or 4 good pictures, at least 1 full body picture, because people are going to want to see that. But when it comes time to respond, just respond as much as possible as yourself. Certainly, of course, kind of your best possible self. But you want to kind of put yourself out there and see if somebody either responds or if they just disappear. Because ultimately, if they just disappear, they're giving you a gift. If you've given something of yourself in a 2-paragraph response and somebody walks away, you wouldn't want to be interested in this person. So don't even worry about that. Don't worry about the perfect response. I would say, in a situation like what I was describing, where I'm doing a search at the beginning and I'm identifying I've got about 67 people to choose from in the area where I live, then, I could set a goal for myself of, say, going on 5 dates out of those 60 people. That would be incredibly successful. Now, will I get a relationship out of those 5 dates? Could be. I mean, I would say it's almost like about a 50-50 on that, whether you would have one person that you were compatible enough with that would agree that you were compatible with them. So, I mean, it definitely could happen. I would say even with as few as 67 people, it's certainly possible if you really take care to show up for the experience. Now, as far as the COVID risk and stuff, you'll find all manner of different types of folks in terms of them saying, they only want to be able to meet on Zoom. Hey, I think meeting on Zoom is great. Why not save the trip, the headache of driving across town, if you live in a big city, depending on where they are. You don't have to pay for coffee or dinner or, whatever. I think that's awesome. And if somebody wants to meet on a patio, do whatever you're comfortable with or whatever the climate allows for you, but just do whatever you're comfortable with there and don't be pressured, obviously, into doing anything that you don't feel comfortable with from a COVID exposure standpoint. You'll see a lot of folks out there kind of at the really extreme ends of the spectrum in terms of, I would say, things that they're looking for. I'd say 2 things that you definitely see a lot when, as a person who's male looking at female profiles, who's heterosexual, you will see a lot of super extreme athlete type folks that have all kinds of pictures, and this is women now, I'm saying. You may see it on the other side too. I haven't looked to be able to find out and tell you, but super extreme athlete folks, they have pictures of like lifting weights, like with huge muscles and stuff. There's quite a few of these people, quite a few marathoners, extreme ultra marathoners and stuff like that. What I would submit about these folks is these are very kind of individual pursuits, especially like marathoning and ultra marathoning. It's like each day you're spending large volumes of time alone running around. So you'd certainly like solitude. So I don't think it's hugely shocking that even though ultra marathoners or super extreme weightlifters are a very small subset of the population, they're very prevalent on Match.com. You'll also see a fair amount of folks, I would estimate at least like 15-20%, it seems like, that say something like, I'm looking to walk with the Lord and a journey together toward Jesus, and I won't accept anything less than that. Certainly, if that's your orientation, awesome. I'm slightly confused about what that might mean to walk with the Lord in a journey on a dating site. So that isn't for me necessarily, but no, if it is for you, hey, great news. There's a lot of that out there. One last thing I wanted to address, and that's just the concept of, well, is this just a waste of time? Like, for example, in my scenario, there's 67 people on there, and, I'm saying 5 dates. Would it be worth going on 5 dates, say, over 6 to 8 weeks? Those could be Zoom dates. Those could be whatever. I'm saying yes, absolutely, right? Because no matter how long this COVID situation goes on, or even if there was no COVID right now, right? If I can go on 5 dates, like a first date is a very specific type of experience, whether it's on Zoom or coffee or whatever it is. So even if these 5 dates are with people that you're not like super jazzed about, of course they could absolutely surprise you, and that would be awesome. So don't miss out on that. If you've taken the time to get to know somebody over a few messages, maybe it's really worth meeting. But it certainly has value as practice. And the reason I say that is this, because what if on that 5th date, this would be an ideal scenario, a first date, you meet somebody that really blows you away. You will be so glad, I would submit, that you went on the first 4 dates, because you're going to have a mentality of abundance. You're going to have been practicing these interactions and have very clear answers of, what are you looking for? Where are you from? What kind of work do you do? Even though you know the answers to these questions, when you've practiced answering them, you can certainly make them sound infinitely more interesting and kind of be just more generally delightful and charming, if that's what you're truly desiring to be, because you're now sitting across from this person that you're really attracted to. That's, of course, an ideal scenario, and ideally you get some practice in before that happens. Is there anything ethically wrong with dating as practice? I don't think so, because you never know. That person that you're meeting, in the back of your mind, you have that scenario like, hey, maybe this is just practice. Maybe it is. However, maybe you will be really attracted to them from their personality, or something that you can't even anticipate. You just really hit it off. So I appreciate you taking a look at this. I hope this was helpful. If you have any thoughts about dating during COVID-19, whether it's on Match.com or other dating sites, we'd love to see that in the comments. And again, if you find this valuable, certainly consider sharing it with somebody who may be dating in COVID-19, or maybe you would like to go ahead and like the video or subscribe to the channel as we talk more about positive attraction. It's a frequent topic on this channel, and you may enjoy it. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more videos on this type of positive attraction.